Hey everybody, welcome back to another daily recap for December 9th, 2025. Today was a tougher day overall. If you traded using this system today, you may have felt that as well. I ended the day green, but it took more trades than usual. 9 total trades today, 9 total setups, with 4 winners and 5 losers. Just not ideal, right? I should have known once we started getting above 3 and 4 trades for the day that we were probably in some chop. But here's the key: I didn't force anything. Every trade I took today was a clean, system-approved setup. The market just didn't give follow-through on several of them, and that's what discipline is all about. The setups were there, we took them. We just didn't get continuation on a lot of those. So we'll walk through them, see if there's anything that we can catch that worked well and didn't work well. But the setups that did work followed the same pattern I look for every day: clear reclaim or rejection at key levels, structure lining up, confirmation from the orb, VAH, VAL, or overnight high-low or initial balance high-low. Alright, so let's get into it. Let me go ahead and hit play on our replay. We'll take a look. So here's our morning open. Alright, so right out of the gate, we're closing above the VAH. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that out. Where was that at again? Okay, so it moves up before that candle close, so this actually doesn't make it valid, but this one I think does, because this was right here before this one closed. So let's take a look. So we entered the trade right here, right? So looking for a 685 call is what I'm looking for. And this is my invalidation line. Get a little candle there. We get a bump up here that actually takes out 3 of our profit levels, right? So this trade instantly turns into a winner. We get our VWAP 2 outer band target. We get the initial or the overnight high. We hit that too, and then we wick all the way up to the initial balance high, which that's always it's before 9:30 on the day, so that trade is going to continue to push that up until 9:30 passes. Let's see how this plays out. Still a valid trade if you're still holding this long. But I would have been out. I would have been out of the trade on this candle. So really I'd be looking for the next setup, and it looks like right here on the 15-minute orb we get a close above it, we get an open and close above it. So I'd be looking to enter another call at the close of this 925 candle, and I'm looking for the same thing, right? Continuation up. You can see this next candle hits several take profit levels. It hits the VWAP 1, it hits our VAH. We'll see if we get continuation up to VWAP 2, overnight high, and now our initial balance is also set. See if we can take those out on this trade. Nope. This trade gets invalidated right here, which tells us that we're out of the trade, so that ends up being a losing trade. Now we're waiting for the next setup. Let me go ahead and delete this too. We don't need that anymore. Alright, so here we go. This candle, nice comeback, breaks above the 15-minute orb and actually breaks above our VAH. So that's step one of the setup. Now we want this next candle to open and close above this. And it does not. So again, invalidated right here, no setup there. That invalidated it, so we're waiting for the next one. Here we go. Close above the orb, right? Open and close above the orb right here. So we're looking to enter the trade at the close of this candle. And we're basing it off of the orb. So this VAH becomes a take profit level. We've got the VWAP 2 above. We've got the overnight high above. We've got the initial balance above. So we've got several take profit targets. See how it plays out. There we go. So several targets hit here, right? The VAH high gets hit on this candle. The VWAP 2 gets hit on this candle. Same with this candle. Also hits both of those take profit targets and just about hits, if not hits, the overnight high take profit. So 3 targets wiped out there pretty quickly after entering the trade. There you go. That one definitely wipes it out. And this one turns into a monster, right? Take out the overnight high, take out the initial balance high for a nice. So anywhere in here, right? We entered right here. Any of these candles gave for 20 minutes, right, in the trade, gave multiple take profit exits, which is beautiful. You don't get that very often. So nice, very nice trade there. That's a win. So 2 for 3 on the day. Now we're waiting for the next setup. You can see price, again, your take profit levels are hit. I'm out of the trade a long time ago. And look what happens. Reverses back. I don't remember exactly what happens right here. It ping pongs around. Okay, so it gives actually another setup here. It gives this candle right here, closes above our overnight high, closes above our initial balance high. So now we're wanting this candle to open and close above that. It does. So we enter the trade at the close of this candle, which is nice because it was a bearish candle, so minimal risk right there in case it invalidates. And it does on the next candle, right? So that turns into a losing trade. 2 for 4 on the day. Here we go again. Another, just giving setup after setup, right? And this is what I'm talking about. I should have known better. Too many setups, which indicates the market is indecisive. And that's just something you learn, But again, the setups are being given, so it's tough to fault myself for that because I'm just trading the system. The trades are being presented, I'm taking them. So here's a close above the overnight high, and these are all riskier, right? Because they're all highs. Overnight high is riskier. Initial balance is riskier just because history says that price is going to stay within these ranges, right? Or below. These are the ceilings, so to speak. But we're looking for breakouts of those, and we're looking for confirmation of breakout of those, which is why we don't just go on the first close. We look for an open and close on the next candle. There you go. Open and close that candle, and it's getting up there to the high of day again. But again, setup's there. I'm taking the trade, and I'm looking for continuation, right? I'm looking for continuation to the upside because the setup's been there. That rejects. I'm using this overnight high as my setup. So I'm still in the trade. There you go. I get invalidated right there. Wait for the next setup. Market's starting to move down. There's one close below. Sorry, yep, this isn't a valid trade. This is the orb high, right? So that's not, we'd be looking at the orb below, which is way down here. But this candle right here wants to put us in a step one of a put setup. So close below the VAL, which is under this yellow line. I just put that there just in case it moves. I know where the initial setup was at. Invalidates. Okay. No trade. All right, so here's another setup. I mean, this is just, again, so many setups, right? Too many, in my opinion. Typically for me, I like 3 or 4, and usually I can be done with those in the morning session. For whatever reason, I continued to trade today, and was a little distracted today. Phone calls just did not have me in the right frame of mind. Anyway, opening range high, 15-minute range high right here, close above it. Next candle opens and closes, so I'd be looking for enter a call position right here. I'm looking for continuation to the upside. I've got my overnight high. I've got my VWAP band 1. I've got my initial balance high. I've got the VAH. I've got the VWAP band 2 up there. So lots and lots of targets up there if we get continuation. And we don't. We get invalidated on the next candle. Closes back below the opening range high. So we're out. Then here we go again. Close above the opening range high. Next candle opens and closes above the opening range high. So it's just the market was playing dirty games today. You know, because right here, right, 3 candles in a row. I'm like, okay, here now it's gonna go. It's gonna recover. Nope. Fake out. Okay. Fine. Now it's really, this is the one, right? Now it's really gonna go. Still in the trade. Hasn't been invalidated yet, and then it gets invalidated. So just fake out after fake out. Which is okay. Those are small losses. Okay, so here it's trying to give us a put setup. Close below VAL. Invalidated immediately on the next candle, so no trade there. Because this closed below VAL, this one didn't open and close below VAL, didn't hold. So we avoided that one. Avoided that one too. Close above the 15-minute high. But then this candle couldn't open and close above it, so we stay out of that one. Let's see, so trying to give a setup here. There we go. Let me roll that back because the VAL I believe was like right here. Well, we'll just say it's right here. Okay, so close below VAL. Want this next candle to open and close below it. It does not, so no trade. We avoid that one. Still no setup yet. Okay, here we go. Close below VAL. Very late in the day. Want this next one to open and close. Okay, so now the setup is valid, right? Because our original VAL, when step 1 qualified, this candle closed below it. The next candle opened and closed below our original VAL, even though it's moved since then. So I'm looking to enter a put right here. 683 put. Nice. So let's move here. Almost hits the VWAP band 2. Doesn't quite get there, but depending on risk level and where you move your stop, that could have been a profitable trade. Still valid. Still in the trade. If you're still holding it, still valid. And then look at that. The last 10 minutes of the day, it gives a great move. That definitely hits the VWAP band 2. Almost hits the orb low and the initial balance low on the day. And then the next candle definitely hits those two and almost hits the VWAP 2 and our initial balance low of the day. And that's how the day ends. So again, tough day to trade, lots of chop. One thing I'll be looking at as I go back and review is which setups were successful. Typically the orb, you get a good move earlier in the day. I think I had a little bit of feeling good about it from, I think there was a day last week where it went 4 for 4 on the day, so probably had that in my mind. But hindsight, right? Maybe after a couple of these, I would have said, all right, I'm done trading this. I'm going to go back to trading our best setup, which is the VAH and the VAL breakouts and holds. But hope that all makes sense. If you traded that today, you might have felt some of the pain as well. But again, overall ended green on the day. Not by much though. Ended up making $6 per contract. So not a great day. If I had stuck just to the morning trades, I would have made $50 per contract. So would have been much better off if I just had called it quits then and avoided all that midday garbage. But anyway, the system gave the setups, we traded them, and can't be upset with that. Again, I stayed disciplined. So the big takeaway for me isn't to stop taking these trades. It's just to respect the context of the day. When it's not trending cleanly or it's uneven, breakout type setups like the overnight high-low or midday orb tests are naturally lower probability, and we saw that today. Doesn't make them wrong, right? Because like I said last week, it was 100% right. The same exact setups. And so just means the fall through is not guaranteed, and you need to stick to your risk and let the stats play out. And this is why having a system matters. It tells you what is valid, and you let the probabilities work over time. So today was just one of those days. I will be back tomorrow morning live at 8:15 Central Time to mark out the levels on the chart and probably trade live for the first 30 minutes or so of the session as we see the morning unfold. Thanks everybody. Have a great night.